Hello, everybody. Brian Tulsa coming to you from my couch again with the begrudging acknowledgement that while I'm on a work project, it seems like all other parts of my life get put on hold, which is frustrating because in my younger days, I would be able to do all of this. I would be able to do all of the work. I would be able to do all of the side projects. I would be able to do all of the downtime and all of the spending of the time with friends and family. But in my old age, in my dotage, it just isn't as easy as it used to be. But this is not a video to complain about work or about me. It is a video to complain about something else. And it is sort of related to money, but it's not related to my money. Because although if I have financial difficulties, it is inconvenient, it is annoying, it is frustrating. It means that some extra work has to be done or some savings have to be found in other places in order to do the things that are desired or required of me. That's an inconvenience. But for others, financial difficulty can be the difference between life and death. And that's what I want to talk about today. I would like to talk about, not this cat, I would like to talk about someone who, for me, has some importance and for me is valued, and for some of you may be important as well. I would like to talk about Charles Levi. And I'm doing this without telling Charles that I'm doing it, so sorry, Charlie. But Charles has been in a tough spot for now several years. I guess approaching 4 years now that he has been dealing with medical issues and the expenses that go along with it. Who is Charles Levi? Charles Levi is and was a bass player, most famous for being in the band My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, but he was also in numerous other projects, including Pigface and more. And you may have seen him in movies, including The Crow. The band was in that movie, and Charles was in the band in that movie. And My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, if you haven't heard of the band before, I do recommend checking them out. I've been a fan of them for a very long time. They've been around since the late 80s and through the 90s, when dark electronic music and industrial music had some commercial popularity. Some of it still does, but it's definitely not the trend right now. But at that time, that band, they had a style. They were expressing art in defiance of social norms or even good taste. And for a young person who was discovering transgressive forms of art, My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult was a standard bearer. They were the trailblazers, and Charles Levi was a very important part of that. Not only that, if you will think of any communities that you've been a part of, in anything, for me that's been in vintage toy collecting and law and art and music. In all of those communities, there's always at least one person that everybody agrees is really one of the genuinely good people in that community. Nobody has anything bad to say about them. Everybody has had positive interactions with that person. And whatever other drama or bad experiences are going on, everybody can legitimately say that this person is the best part of it. This person is the best part of that community. And Charles is that guy. Charles is someone who has had positive connections with about everyone he's met. I have had the chance to meet him in person, although it was a very long time ago. I remember it being outside the Cain's Ballroom here in Tulsa after a Thrill Kill Cult show, and he was standing out front with all of the groupies and the fans surrounding him, and just in full rock star mode, but just really cool, really friendly, really personable, but just exuding coolness. But sometime, I believe it was in 2022, Charles contracted sepsis. He had an infection that attacked his body. He had a leg amputated. He was in a coma for a while, and a lot of his friends in the music industry stepped up, alerted everyone to his medical crisis, tried to support him through that crisis. Special credit to Martin Atkins and Joe Laveridge for stepping up, but many, many others have stepped up to assist, including Charles's girlfriend and I guess fiance, Danny, who has been an unwavering support through all of this. Charles did come out of his coma, but he did lose a leg, and he has a lot of other medical issues, especially with his heart and his kidneys, that go along with a sepsis infection. And sometimes he does better than others. He has been a guest on podcasts, Industrial Amputation, among others, where he has talked about his history, about his personal story, and demonstrated what a cool guy he is. And he had to move from Illinois to Colorado because Colorado has a better public health system than Illinois does, which is really sad to think about, that you have to move to a different state to get health care that you need. But often that isn't even enough. Healthcare in the United States is incredibly expensive, and I think people from outside of the United States don't fully appreciate how devastating medical debt can be. And Charles has been in the midst of that for several years now. Like I said, he had a leg amputated, and in his condition, exercise and walking with a prosthetic would be very beneficial. But Medicare has been fighting every inch of the way. They will not approve a prosthetic because a prosthetic is cosmetic, according to them. Some of his necessary prescriptions that keep him alive are not approved by Medicare, so those expenses come out of pocket for someone who is unable to work. Charles's musician friends and industry friends have been helping. There have been donations, there have been benefit concerts and events, and it has helped, but it's never enough. The expenses involved in treating these kinds of illnesses, a rich person would have a hard time covering these things. Even with insurance, it can be devastating to try to stay alive and cover your basic expenses of living, like housing and food. To add to the difficulty, recently Charles experienced an assault from the person that he was living with. His girlfriend Danny had to protect him from this, but it has required him to move in with short notice and still deal with these medical issues and the financial fallout from it. Charles is a good guy. There is a lot of chaos in the world right now and a lot of bad things happening in the world right now, but my desire would be for one good thing to happen for one good person. And my request to you is to look at Levi's story. I will have a link to his GoFundMe in the description of this video. I wish I could tell you to reach out to him, but in his condition and under the circumstances, he may not be able to respond to that right now. I have had conversations with him, but I'm very careful about how often I reach out because he's got a lot on his plate. Too much for one person. And with the support of Danny, it's more than a single person's support system should have to deal with. So I don't reach out any more than I need to, but I need Charles to know that he's not forgotten about. I still care about him. A lot of people still care about him. And I have done what I can. I have donated what I can, but it's not enough. And I am reaching out to you, whomever is seeing this video, to take a look at what Levi is going through, to think about what you might be able to do to help, and to help so that maybe one good thing can happen to one good person in this crazy, chaotic world that we're living. So, thank you, and thanks for your help, and thank you, Levi, for all of the joy that you've brought for so many years, and I will see you in the next video.